Hey guys, Adam Fenig here with Fenig Equipment. You're tuned into the Talking Shed. Hey, you saw my video there earlier in the week about this Kinze 4905 that we've been working on. Today I'm going to do a final walkthrough video with you guys. We've finally finished this thing all the way up, and I want to walk you through a lot of this plumbing here, how we did that, and then also the ISO Raven rate controller in the cab. So I'm going to turn this around. We're going to walk through some of the components that we did here on this 4905. Okay, so here we are up in the cab. We've got our clean sweep controller. This, of course, controls the Martin row cleaners back there. Basically, you simply go to the left to lift up, to the right to go down, and you can see all your gauges there. If you're thinking of running row cleaners with a air, this is a really handy way to do it, whether it's Martins or Yetters or whatever it is. Highly suggest this. It's a simple and easy way to do it. Of course, we've got the Kinze screen. I don't know much about that, but it looks pretty slick, looks handy. That's a cool blue Vantage display they've got there. It's real big, it's clear, looks like it's fairly easy to use. What we're going to dive in and talk about here is the ISO bus side. So you simply hit that ISO bus button, and here we are at the Raven controller screen. So we're going to walk through this on every Raven ISO rate controller. This is going to be your screen. So a couple things we'll point out. This is your tank. Click on the tank and it shows you a few things there. Our tank capacity is 300 gallons because it's a front mount tank on the front of the tractor. You can do this is where you would fill your tank. So if you did a full refill, right there I just told the unit that we just put 300 gallons in there, and that of course is not true, so we're going to change that back. So right here, that number is what your current tank volume is. So it's pretty handy. It will alert you, and it's pretty nice how it tells you how full you are. Down here is your section control, your manual section control. So there, you can turn on and off these sections just by the push of a button. You've got a master switch here in the corner. Flip that toggle switch up and down. Of course, you can have a whisker switch as well. Here is your rates. That is your target rate, and then your actual rate. Of course, as you're running through the field, those will match. This gauge here is the PSI. There's a pressure transducer out there by the section valves, and this gauge is going to show your pressure, your working pressure when you're running. Of course, this is your total area and your product volume. So some pretty nice things on the home page. Go over here to the settings tab. I just want to show you how easy to use this Raven ISO control module is. Control type, of course, liquid, and then meter cal. That is the number on your flow meter. That is 145, which actually you see here it's pulses per 10 gallons. So I'm going to actually change that to 1450. Valve cal, it's a PWM. So that is correct. You basically just change whether it's PWM, standard valve, fast close. On this one it is a PWM. So those are our PWM settings there. Go up here to this one, applicator type. I put sprayer because it's the one closest to a planter in the options. Total width, 16 row, 30 inch, so it's 480 inches. And we've got two sections, each at 240. So here's our alarm. So this is where I was talking about how it will alert you. We want it to tell us when the tank is low. It's going to beep at us at 100 gallons. And it will also beep if we are off rate 30%. So pretty cool. It tells you some information here and some backside information there. But pretty easy to use. It's all set up here in the Raven ISO screen. This is a Pro 700 controller. Of course, this will work with any ISO compatible controller. I really like the Raven ISO, how simple and easy it is to use. And I think it's going to pair well with this Kinze 4905. So here back at the planer, we of course have the red balls. We've got filters mounted right under them with the gauges up front. Of course, 16 red balls with the red glass ball. You can see we made this bracket to come up and hold both the pump and the compressor. That is a John Blue pump that's being driven with a hydraulic motor. So it's a PWM controlled pump. So basically we go from the bottom of the pump to the flow meter, from the flow meter to the section valves. There's 2 sections on this unit, up to the red balls. And then from the red balls, we go back to the in-furrow fertilizer tube from the Kinze factory that goes in furrow. That's where our 5 gallon per acre is going. It was designed to hold pretty much everything and have everything in one spot. You can see we also mounted the Raven ISO rate controller right underneath here. The wires are tucked in neat inside of this box so that we don't have to worry about any loose wires flying around or anything like that. Come over to this side, you can see it a little bit better too. Raven ISO node, all the wires going into this box to keep them clean and out of the way. Here's our Raven ISO hookup. This cable then goes all the way up to the tractor. PWM valve that controls the John Blue pump. But these are, of course, the Martin ACCR row cleaners, controlled with an air cylinder. You saw the controller whenever we were up in the cab. These are the Martin parallel linkage row cleaners with the razor wheels. We've got the depth bands on there as well. These things do a phenomenal job of getting all the residue out of the way, and really excited to see these things run. Now out the back of the units, again, we talked the other day, we're doing totally tubular TT300s. We connected those with airline fittings. We ran all 1/4 inch to this Y. The orifices are housed inside each one of these caps to get our correct flow. The customer is using a stabilizer here that is specifically designed for putting fertilizer down on the surface applied. So that'll certainly come in handy in scenarios like this. We got the fill and everything out the back wrapped up. This top one is going to fill the big 750 gallon tank. That came from the factory at Kinze. The bottom one we installed. That is filling the front mount 300 gallon tank on the tractor. Basically, we're going to fill the front tank, and also our suction is all going to come from back here as well. So we've got a side load valve here so that whenever you turn this up, it'll all still be able to get sucked into the pump for whenever he's running. You can see the caps and everything there. That's pretty much the gist of the fill, and now we'll go up to the front. Another thing I wanted to show you was these check valve holders that we had made. So it can always be a struggle on where we're going to mount the check valves on planters. So basically we just came off of the bolts, one of the bolts that holds the row unit on, came up with a bracket, bolted the check valve here real nice and clean, and able to keep that out of the way but still extremely clean. So you can see there's a check valve bolted at the top right of each row, and man does that look nice. Basically the last piece of the puzzle is this connection up front. This is so whenever he unhooks the planter, he can just cam lock this connection. Obviously this will stay with the planter, that'll stay with the tractor, and that hose is just going up to his front mount fertilizer tank. So that's pretty much it on this Kinze 4905. We had a blast putting it together, and can't wait to see this thing run in the field here this spring. And you can bet that we will bring plenty of pictures to you guys and videos and drone shots. So stay tuned to the Talking Shed for more on this Kinze 4905.